Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy. Welcome to The Last Lap. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the Daytona 500, and we're also going to be previewing the Auto Club Series Cup race this weekend. But before we hop into it, just want to remind you guys, hit that like button and subscribe button. We'd greatly appreciate it if you did that. But let's go ahead and hop straight into the episode. Matthew, my friend and co-host, will not be joining me. Unfortunately, he is not feeling well, so make sure you guys comment down below for him to feel better soon. Hopefully he'll be back for the race review on Sunday. But let's go ahead and talk about this Daytona 500 on Sunday. There was a big crash in stage 2. Kevin Harvick, he gave Tyler Reddick a little bit too much of a bump in the middle of turns 3 and 4 and ended up sending him around. Eric Jones, Chase Elliott, and Tyler Reddick, those would be the 3 cars that would be out of the race. Ryan Blaney had significant damage, but he was able to continue. In stage 3, there was a crash after green flag pit stops. There was one pack that was catching the other, and Michael McDowell got into the back of Ryan Preece as that was happening, transitioning from green flag pit stops, and Ryan Preece ended up spinning around and caught up a lot of cars. Chase Briscoe, Ty Gibbs, Jimmy Johnson, they all had damage. And the RFK cars, they looked really strong all day long. They took the lead on that restart. But Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon, they ended up working together and moved around them with 3 laps to go. Kyle Busch was leading the Daytona 500 with 3 laps to go, trying to win his first one in several attempts. But then Daniel Suarez spun off of turn 4, and that brought out the caution. And that wasn't the first time Daniel Suarez screwed Kyle Busch during speed weeks. He also spun Kyle Busch in his dual race, so that was the second time Daniel Suarez did something to not make Kyle Busch's day any easier. But that caution came out. There was a restart that I'll talk about in a minute. But Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch started side by side. They ended up moving down together to work together. And Joey Logano, I believe, got to the lead. And then William Byron made contact with Austin Dillon. And that caused the big one, the biggest wreck of the race. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr., out of nowhere, ended up taking the lead on that restart. And there was another overtime restart. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was able to get the win. He was able to hold off Kyle Larson, RFK cars, Joey Logano, several other drivers. But he was able to get the win. So huge congratulations to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I'll quickly go over the results, and then I'll go through my main points that I saw during this race. So as we look at the top 10, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. ended up getting the win. Joey Logano second. Christopher Bell third. Chris Buescher fourth. Alex Bowman fifth. Allmendinger, great run for him, in sixth to start off the season. Daniel Suarez seventh. Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, and Riley Herbst in the top 10 for his first race. I believe it's his first race in a Cup car, so huge congratulations to Riley Herbst right there. And then the 2 other I guess you call them main drivers that were in this race. Travis Pastrana, he finished 11th in his Daytona 500 debut, so great run for him. Jimmy Johnson, 31st, not his, he was up at the front at the end of the race when it mattered the most. Just got caught up in one of those wrecks, unfortunately, at the end. And this race was also decided under caution as well. There was a crash in turn 1 on the final lap, and then the caution came out, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was redeemed the leader at the time. So he did get the win that way. But Ricky Stenhouse Jr., this is why he still has a contract, and why JTG Daugherty Racing signed him to a multi-year contract, because they know if they go to a super speedway, they have a chance of winning and getting into the playoffs. So Ricky Stenhouse Jr., it's his 3rd career win, 3rd win at a super speedway. So JTG Daugherty Racing knows that they have a chance every year at those 4, well, I guess you call them 6 super speedway tracks. The Fords, they look to be strong all day long, especially those RFK cars, but just wrong place, wrong time for a lot of those Fords. They were involved in that accident where the 2 packs were trying to merge together, and Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher looked super strong, especially late in the race. They could find each other in the draft, and Brad would just push Chris Buescher so hard and just push him straight to the front of the field. Kyle Busch, so close to his first Daytona 500. He took the lead with a few laps left, and then that caution came out. And I want to talk about the first overtime restart, I believe it was, because Austin Dillon, so there's a choose rule on the super speedways now. So you could choose whatever lane you want to restart the race. Austin Dillon chose the inside, Kyle Busch chose the outside. Austin Dillon kind of let Kyle Busch in, and then the two of them tried to get going, but by the time they tried to get going, I believe it was Logano. He just got pushed so far ahead, and they had no chance. So I think if they chose each lane, that they should have, they should have just raced each other hard for the win. They shouldn't have tried to execute a move where Kyle Busch dropped down in front of Austin Dillon. They should have just raced it out, and whichever one of them won the race. Or they could have both lined up on the inside or the outside lane, nose to tail. That way, Austin could have given Kyle a really big push right away, and they could have gotten out in front of both lanes and controlled them that way. So, not really sure why RCR decided to do that move. Hopefully they can look back on it and learn from it, but, it didn't work, so of course we're going to criticize it, but, I just didn't, even when they did that move, I didn't understand what they were going for, and that they think it was going to work. Another thing about this race was the commercials. The commercials were really bad. Like, in the first, I believe it was the first 10 laps, there was a full screen commercial. And then another 10 laps would go by, another full screen commercial. And, a lot of people, Mike Joy said on Twitter that they kind of pushed the commercials towards the front of the race to front load it so they could have more space at the end, which I understand. But what I don't understand is, why is there a full screen commercial under green flag conditions, and then like halfway through the race there was a side-by-side commercial under caution? Like, that's what I don't understand. If we're going to do commercials, you're supposed to do side-by-side under green so that you don't miss anything, and then full screen commercials under caution. But there were a lot of complaints about the commercials, and I was one of them. So yeah, and apparently it was like the same number, or close to the same number of commercials from 2001, which I was too young to remember the 2001 Daytona 500, but from years past, the past like 5 years even, I don't remember there being that many commercials in a race. But the numbers don't lie, I guess. So I don't know, it's just NASCAR, they have to make their money. I just wish there was a better way for them to handle these commercials, whether it's side by side or I don't know. But hopefully there's something figured out there. But now we're going to transition to Auto Club, and really quickly, who are some drivers to watch? Last year, Kyle Larson was the winner. Him and Chase Elliott were both very strong. Obviously, they got together on the front stretch, ended Chase Elliott's day, but Kyle Larson ended up winning the race. Tyler Reddick, he won the first two stages last year, seemed to have the dominant car until he blew a tire going into turn one. So I'm going to watch out for Tyler Reddick as well, along with Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. Also, I'm going to watch Kyle Busch because he's in that 8 car this year. So as long as they bring, something similar to what they had last year, I'd expect Kyle Busch to be at the front of the field. And Kyle Busch has started off strong this year. I think he's got a very big chip on his shoulder. So I'm going to watch out for Kyle Busch this weekend in Auto Club. So make sure you guys stay tuned to our social media page, because I'll post our fantasy picks over there the day of the race. So for some drivers to watch. And this is also going to be the final 2-mile race at Auto Club. They will be reconfiguring it to a short track because it was announced today on Friday that NASCAR sold the majority of the land that the track is on as of right now. There's only 89 acres of land left after what they're going to sell away. And I saw a tweet from Jeff Gluck on Twitter, and that's less than a third of the property that Martinsville Speedway sits on, including parking, the racetrack, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know what they're going to have in store here. That's a lot of land to get rid of. Only 89 acres to work with for a racetrack, a parking lot, and all of that stuff. So I'm going to be interested to see how well NASCAR utilizes that space, because they're probably going to have to use every inch of it for the racetrack, parking, grandstands, all of that kind of stuff. So very interesting and exciting to see what turns of that in 2025, I believe, because next year they're probably not going to have a race there. I'll update our fantasy points as well from Daytona. I know I did not so good, and I'm pretty sure Matthew did. He did better than I did, so he'll go ahead and start off the year with the lead there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. I know it's kind of short. It's just me talking, so hopefully you guys didn't get bored of me too much. I know Matthew brings a lot of that energy and enthusiasm, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you check out our social media pages, because that's where I am most of the time. I'm usually on Twitter tweeting stuff away about the races and the news and all of that kind of stuff. So make sure you guys check out all of that stuff. But until the next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.